Greetings, dear ones. It is Friday, July 16th, and here on the East Coast, a rather warm day. We're in the 90s, but nothing to compare to the West. Oops, there was a little blip. Greetings, dear ones. This is July 16th. And the title to this week's Ancient Future Wisdom episode, number 102, is Freedom from Ecocide. And before we get started, I would like to invite everyone to really just ask and allow yourself to be in your body and here, because although this is can be a rather challenging subject matter, it can be very powerful for you in a transformative way, and transforming our relationship with Earth so that ecocide does not continue. So I'm going to start our session with the acknowledgement of the mathematics and the container that has been created over the past several days, that the information has been coming in and creating this space, this sacred space for us. But as always, I like to light a candle to symbolize that and to recognize the space that is being held for us by not only the sacred geometrics, but also by all of the beings and energetics that have come forward to assist us with this particular piece in transformation. First, I'd like to give a definition of ecocide. If you haven't heard of it, or haven't heard the term rather, there has been recently a group of attorneys connected to the International Court, and they have come up with a definition to be able to acknowledge when an act, whether by government or corporation or an individual, is to be held accountable. And the legal definition is, quote, an unlawful or wanton act or acts committed with knowledge that there is a substantial likelihood of severe and either widespread or long-term damage to the environment being caused by those acts. And this is on the par with genocide and war crimes and crimes against humanity and crimes of aggression that are able to be tried and decided in the International Court. Now, at this point in time, that court does not have much ability to enforce those laws. It is going to take more and more countries acknowledging this crime and willing to hold accountable those companies, individuals, governments that are committing those crimes. And little by little, as we come to be more cooperative and collaborative and connected country to country as a planet, rather than so many individual countries with individual agendas, some of which are very attached to the old way of being that we have been exploring and studying, as I've mentioned before, for thousands and thousands of years, but are now at a point where, given our technology and the potential for off-planet communication or other beings to open up conversation or relationship with us, we're not that far from it, then we really need to be united and joined together as a planet in order to not only address as a unified whole those that may be coming to greet us, meet us, work with us, or other, but also because our technology is coming to a point where if we do not acknowledge excuse me, the moral, spiritual, ethical aspects of humanity as the overriding and overarching motivator or driver to our planet, that technology can be detrimental or destructive. So one of those steps is coming to acknowledge the rights of nature, the rights of animals, the rights the rights of plants and trees. And certainly we're seeing the dismissal of any acknowledgement of life and, if you will, a certain level of sentience when there are massive amounts. I think the number is up to 4.8 million acres of Amazon being destroyed excuse me, in this year alone. And that cannot happen if we are to continue as a species. Excuse me, not only because of the morality issues, but because certain levels of nature and biodiversity and ecosystems have to be maintained, or we aren't going to be able to live. So it's that blending of technology and the ancient ways that will allow us to go forward. One of the things that has been popping up this week is what defines life. And as usual, my helpers through Star Trek were busy this week as I sat down to prepare one evening, I think it was night before last, for today's teaching. One of the Star Trek Next Generation episodes was literally entitled Quality of Life, and the discussion was, or the challenge was, what exactly defines life? What exactly allows one life to exist without destruction or abuse or use? So I'm hoping the sound is okay. It's still giving me the notification, so please turn up your volumes if you're here, and in those who are going to be listening in future, hopefully it'll come through clear enough. I was adjusting a little bit to be able to give a better view of the altar for today, and combining quite a few different objects and symbols of the energetics that have stepped forward this week to assist. Aside from beautiful flowers who continue to be strong and hardy throughout the week, which I'm very, very grateful for. We have a symbol of mathematics that has been used for millennia to measure our place in the universe and to calculate the movement of the stars and the planets as well, to create a basis of sacred geometrics. Wasn't referred to as that, but it is the mathematics of the universe. We also have, I'm going to turn it on, let's see if it can be visible. This is this is representing our wonderful teacher and master Tesla, who came in very, very strongly this week. And hopefully you can see this is a representation of his electricity, perpetual electricity that is beneficial. And the symbol, if you noticed, I changed the symbol for the applied universal alchemy group. And interestingly enough, this week I happened to catch Dr. Strange and was listening to a lot of the information from the Ancient One, explaining how she is able to adjust the body to heal. And she's talking about structure and mass and energy being the same thing. So if you realign, which is the work that I do, realign the spiritual body, or bring the person more in alignment with their soul purpose, with their soul reality, with their soul characteristics, then the body, which is the last signal along a line of messages or notices that our system is giving us to follow and pursue and transform a particular piece, then the physical doesn't have to be present anymore. So once the soul is aligned, the disease or the financial or relationship or in whatever third dimensional presentation it's coming through does not have to be present or dictating your life. Also, we have, I brought one of the oracle cards that I use, and this is the plant oracle card, and I'm going to invite the plant beings to bring forward a card for us today, because we are going to be working with the plant kingdom. And the plant that is coming forward is called Woad, which I'm unfamiliar with. Here's a picture of it. Let me stand that up better so you can see it. And let me just quickly look up what that plant signifies, or what its major symbolization is. And it looks very much like milkweed here. This is the druidic base, so it stands for freedom and warriorhood, and it evokes the feeling of freedom more than even or comparable to the clear blue sky. And the Woad plant produces a dye that makes this perfect sky blue. And it indicates that it is a striving to gain freedom and warriorhood with bardistry. Bardistry is the way of the bards telling stories, remembering the old ways through verbal presentations. So a beautiful plant coming forward for us. As well, I have one of the many cards or oracle cards of animals that I utilize. And today we're going to pick a card for our work as an animal to assist us and guide us with what we are looking at for the rights of nature and the preservation of the existence of all beings on this earth, which includes animals and plants. So we have the dolphin. And the dolphin symbolizes life, feminine energy, and the primordial waters of life. Again, so many different aspects of nature are being thrown out of balance by our actions and inactions. And the damage to water, the damage to our waterways, to our oceans, is really massive at this moment. And that affects the atmosphere. It affects the amount of moisture in the air, which also, when out of balance, is creating these huge droughts. We have massive amounts of flooding in Europe right now. They're expecting more water. There's close to 120 people dead. Out west, the heat has killed hundreds in Canada and our western states. We have fires blazing at this time. I think it's 12. We are not acknowledging the life and the livingness and the sentience, even though it may be a different type or form of sentience than human sentience. Nevertheless, there is a wisdom, there is knowledge, there is life in all things. And the Star Trek Next Generation episode I mentioned a little while ago, the quality of life, there is a discussion about what constitutes life. And one of the characters, Dr. Crusher, gives a broad scientific definition as life is what enables plants and animals to consume food, derive energy from it, grow, adapt themselves to their surroundings, and reproduce. Now, everything from the most basic form of bacteria to insects to animals to plants to trees all have this ability, these abilities, these characteristics. But there is a deeper life force, a deeper wisdom that lies within and through everything around us on this planet. And when and as you transform your relationship with yourself, you are much more able to communicate with and receive information from those various life beings on the planet. And this is the way of the indigenous. This is the ancient way that was in place for thousands of years without major conflict, without war, without destruction. It is a very cooperative, collaborative, communicative, connected, and communing. There is a way to commune with nature. When we switched over to a more male-focused structure of our, or design of the planet, then the negation of, the dismissal of the destruction and use and abuse of aspects of animals and plants and land came into effect. And again, this was for our benefit, our exploration of a specific type of duality, form of duality. But we are now moving to a new level of duality in this evolutionary process, where we are returning to more of the feminine way, that acknowledgement and respect and valuing of all life, particularly the plant and animal and land, as a way to bring back to center the combination of both the male and the female aspects of this duality. Or we can look at it in any number of ways of duality. This week also, I had the great privilege and pleasure of attending a dance medicine Philly event, which is ecstatic dance, which I highly recommend. I posted some pictures and a note about it, and we'll try to keep people apprised of when they're having another event outdoors, particularly. And this one, it was truly fascinating that there was a great deal of very primal music and beats, to be able to just freely dance. People don't dance necessarily with one another, but if they choose to, they can, if both parties agree. But mainly it's just really being with yourself and dancing and feeling your body to ecstasy. And it was fascinating that we're on this beautiful land. The sun was setting, and this land that we were standing on was a fort, a Revolutionary War fort, that actually has been in effect for multiple wars, but it helped us win the Revolutionary War. And so there's this very male, aggressive, war-based structures around us. And at the same time, we are dancing and moving and connecting to the body and land and the earth. At the end of this event, a magnificent group of people conducted a journey, and they invited all the men to create a circle around. Not sure how many people were there, 100, 120, maybe not that many, and to create a circle holding the structure, while those that chose to explore the feminine and the flow within. So it was very interesting that both the structure, the male, and the flow for the creation and birth is necessary. Excuse me. So we're bringing both that in. That's why the mathematics has appeared this week. Very strong, sacred geometrics behind and within everything that exists in this universe. It's universal mathematics, and allows for that structure behind, allows for the physical to be present and accessible to us in this third dimensional form. So when we connect more deeply into the plants and animal kingdom, that includes the fish, the birds, the insects, we are working in conjunction and cooperation for the benefit of all. and really experiencing that unity. So in our practice today, I'm going to invite you to really feel the structure of this container, the holding and form and the underlying mathematics, not only of this container that we're working in today, but that underlies all matter in our planet, on this planet. So when you feel that structure, when you are able to sink into the firm, clear, strong, steadfast sensation of the underlying mathematics of the universe, it allows for more flow and more movement and more creativity, not only within you, but for our species as a whole. So as you let yourself truly sink into this structure that we have today, and again, as always, prior to a teaching, workshop, what have you, I work with the sacred geometrics for days in preparation with this, and that structure has been set for you to just simply let go into, so that you can feel the flow of creativity within you, perhaps giving birth to something, but moreover enabling you to open avenues of connection and communication with the plant and animal teachers that come forward at any given time for you. And today I'm going to leave space for you to be able to invite and allow those teachers that are here particularly for you. We have the dolphin for our overall group today, but your individual teachers will be unique to you. So without further ado, as it said, I think there's anything else I wanted to bring forward. Just the significance. Again, just so happens this week I've been connected to 2 different groups on Facebook. One is South Jersey Gardeners, and the other is New Jersey Bird Watchers. And so there's been a lot of people coming forward with information, delightfully so this week. And I made it a point to go on the website of the National Wildlife Federation and certify my backyard as a certified wildlife habitat. It's not difficult to do. There are certain questions that they ask that if you have certain plants, or not certain plants, but certain aspects of your yard, you too are able to be certified as a wildlife habitat. And the more people we have doing this, the less the destruction of your individual area. Because the more we invest in chemicals and lawns and put more lights out at night, this limits the wildlife in our area, which directly affects our physical well-being, not to mention emotional and spiritual well-being. We don't have opossums, we have an overgrowth of ticks. We don't have bats, we have an overgrowth of mosquitoes. We don't have birds, we don't have them dropping so that plants and trees can propagate, so that the soil receives the micronutrients that it needs in order to not only feed the plants and animals, but it literally holds the integrity of the soil on which our homes are standing. So there's very, very direct personal need for us to connect into the plants and animals and all creatures on this planet as our relations. Just checking my notes, see if there was anything else I wanted to mention or name as participants in today's practice. And I think that's the only other thing that I would invite you to do is, as we're moving into this practice, is to allow also for your own personal way of committing ecocide, whether that is on your land or making choices to support certain corporations or entities or institutions that do not acknowledge the life force of different aspects of the earth and are willingly, wantonly causing that destruction, but also ways in which we thoughtlessly, unfeelingly destroy, dismiss, denigrate, abuse aspects of our own being. And when you enable those aspects to come forward for transformation, which can certainly occur given all of the helpers and the energetics that we have here today, then as you transform each of those pieces within you related to the current collective consciousness theme, then you are affecting the whole in a much broader way than you may recognize. So I'm happy to chat with you about any possibilities or any help or any questions you may have about the transformation process, and how you play such a grand role in this evolutionary leap. So now I'm going to invite all of you to just get comfortable in your seat, whether that's on a chair or on a couch, and finding your sits bones. Those are those bones that are right in the very center of each buttocks. They may feel a little bit pointy. And when you settle and find them and settle onto them, it allows you to just sink down into your body being. And enables you to maybe raise your chest a little bit without forcefully doing so, which opens up your diaphragm, allows your shoulder blades in the back to just kind of come a little bit together and slide down. You don't have to force them. They will do so on their own. The body has an amazing wisdom when we allow it. Its structure. So we're talking about structure and flow, the aspects of life or that define or the qualities of life, life-givingness, and your structure through the skeletal system is vital to allow the movement and flow not only of the organs and glands and tissues, but also for life-giving air, oxygen, to move through the entire body, every cell. And when there is more space in your diaphragm area, that is easier to do. So we must allow for resting into the structure of the skeletal system. And too often we hold ourselves up rather than allow that structure to hold us. And we want to allow the structure of the mathematics of this particular dimension so that there may be creation, movement, and flow of the beings on the planet. Trees, plants, animals, bodies of water, the finned ones, the winged ones, the creeping and crawly ones, to the insect kingdom. All are vital, all are our relations. So calling in the fathers of mathematics throughout history, so many, too many to mention. Although Pythagoras did come forward this week, considered the father of mathematics, the first person to coin the term philosophy, and who worked with vibration and frequency to bring back into resonance the soul or spirit so that the body could heal. Master Tesla continued this with a machine that he created, and not only utilized himself, but all of his apprentices, assistants, with very marked and radical health benefits for years. Certainly, medicine could have gone in that direction. But did not. And we find ourselves again at an impasse with even that institution. And as always, I like to invite everyone to say to themselves or out loud, I am asking and I am allowing my body. I am asking and I am allowing my energy field. I am asking and I am allowing my wider self, which is your soul self. I am asking and I am allowing my guides and teachers and masters to reveal to me any information that can assist me at this time. And again, not searching for that information in your mind or through your third eye, for that is a more limiting source or limited source. Whereas when you're including your energy field, which is the sum total of your experiences, as an explorer in any physical form, and your wider self, which holds the sum total of your exploration as a soul, far wider than this one experience of this one universe we are in. And now we're going to drop another level deeper as you allow yourself to really be in body and through your body, through this amazing vehicle. To allow for any of that information to come in or experience. For it is through the sensation, the experience of your inner verse, and your felt sense of any teachers, guides, masters coming through for you. And again, letting go of any of the mind needs to explore or to find, and simply allow. Allow is challenging for most people, for there is no doing in allow. There is no effort, there is no try, there is no focus, there is no intention. You are merely sinking down and inside of you, allowing your energy field to come down and in, so that you receive on a wholly different level the assistance the clues, the teachers for you at this time. Remember, you're sitting deeply in a sacred geometric container that has been created for and with you in mind for that knowledge of who exactly is here, who will be listening at any point in time in the future, is already known, is already integrated into this container. So now I invite you to just allow a little bit more. No effort, just a sort of softening and loosening and opening that occurs automatically when you let go of doing, thinking, efforting. So I invite you in that sinking down and in, allowing any plant, tree, bush, and that can include vegetable, fruit, what may be termed even a weed, and then you don't even have to know the name. Just simply allowing, perhaps for some clue, perhaps an image, but don't seek out an image. Perhaps it is a place that comes forward where your system took in, perhaps even beyond your cognitive awareness, the plants around you. Maybe it was in a desert setting, maybe it was in a forest, river, meadow. Again, really allowing. Perhaps a word pops in that is unfamiliar to you. Such as the plant from the Celtic tradition that came to work with us today, the woad. Certainly a term unfamiliar to me. Again, the more effort you put in, the more trying, the less opportunity for the plant, tree, bush to come to you. Trust their wisdom, their knowledge, their life-giving properties, their sentience. They know your guides, your wider self. Who is stepping forward for you at this time from the plant kingdom? Trees, bushes, flowers, fruits, vegetables, wild plants, weeds, or what are termed weeds. More often than not have wonderful properties that have been used for millennia to sustain and heal. And if nothing pops in or floats in or arises during today's practice, no worries. You have invited, you have asked, and over the next 24, 48 hours, plant, tree, bush, flower, vegetable, fruit may come forward to you in a wide variety of ways. Staying open to that, for that. Now I invite you to sink even more deeply, which means just allowing even more. Without work, effort, push. Again, the asking has already been done. To invite an animal teacher to present itself in whatever form, whether it's a sensation of perhaps a feeling of fur or structure of a wing or the sound of an insect. Many, many beings within the water kingdom, as we have the dolphin coming forward as an overall teacher for our practice today. Allowing your individual, unique, at this point in time, animal, bird, fish, insect, to make itself known to you in whatever form, whatever way, whatever avenue, whatever method. Again, letting go of the brain's need to seek and find. not having to vision the animal, but again, perhaps there is a clue or a piece of information that will lead you to the animal. The bird, the water creature, or insect. No forcing, no pushing, just allow. Remembering that these beings speak not necessarily in clear English words, but instead may gift you an experience, a sensation, a little clue or bite of information that can lead you to the information. Without demand, without requirement, for perhaps it is somewhere within the next 24 or 48 hours that you will be invited to go on a venture, on an exploratory research. Or you may notice multiple presentations of the same animal, insect, water creature, or bird through television, the computer, billboards, anything can be used as an avenue from these beautiful teachers to you. And weaving all the different aspects, experiences, gifts, whatever has come, conscious, unconscious, seen or unseen through this practice. assimilating, incorporating in and through the many aspects and levels of you. In the days that come and beyond. As always, you're welcome to stay in this energetic, in this container, or allow your body and energy field to bring you from what was perhaps a less physical experience back to a more physical experience in this moment. But whenever you decide, know that the assimilation and the incorporation of all that has occurred is or will be complete whenever you decide to be more present in this physical third dimension. Once again, and as always, a reminder to please ask any questions or make a comment in below the video so that I can answer you for any troubleshooting. Please contact me again, either in the comments, private message me, email me, and I will post some of the things that I mentioned today in this practice, so heads up for that over the next couple days. As always, they always have follow-up. And next week, of course, 1 o'clock on Friday, the 23rd, I think it is. And the next day, the 24th, I am conducting it's actually more half a day, it's 12 o'clock to 4 o'clock. A deep transformation where we're going to be doing practices to free, continuing on with the theme. This is freedom from the chains that bind, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, allowing for more freedom in your life thereafter. So please contact me if you need any more information or would like to register for that. It's going to be virtual on Zoom, so I will need you to register to send you the worksheet and the Zoom invite. So please contact me for that. And in the meantime, please know that it is always with the greatest of gratitude, acknowledgement, and love for your presence here on the planet. Be well.